Hello everyone, this is Nina with Waffle Flower. In this video, I'm going to share some ideas to swatch out the stamping inks you have with our Color Swatches stamp set and the brand new add-on set for Inkpads. Swatching is a great way to stay organized and learn more about your inks along the way. If you watched our videos on Color Swatches stamp set, you will know that this 24 swatch grid stamp is the core of our swatch system. And all you need is this little solid stamp here to use the swatches for your stamping inks. Ink releases usually come in sets of 12, such as the brand new colors by Ranger for Distress Oxides. I'm using 2 columns for 1 color. Ink up the stamp once in the first column, and then stamp again in the second column without re-inking the stamp. This is called second generation stamping. You can get some really cool effects with this technique. When making swatches, I usually stamp the color off a couple times on some scrap paper. This is to make sure that there is no residue from the previous ink color when I move from one color to the next. Some inks stain more than the others, and you may want to stamp it off multiple times before stamping it on your swatch chart. I die cut the finished chart using the matching die for the 24 swatch grid. And this awesome chart is all ready to go into my swatch book. I will share more on this later. This 2x3 Color Swatches for Inkpads stamp set is designed to be used with our Color Swatches stamp set, which includes all the grids and outlines for these solid stamps. First one up is the Swatch Stamp that fits right in the rectangles on the 24 swatch grid, as well as the bigger rectangles on the 10 swatch grid. This square stamp next to the swatch stamp covers 2/3 of a rectangle on the 24 swatch grid and fits right in the little squares on the venue chart. The biggest stamp and the bottom fits right in the single swatch here. After making this video, I decided to add a skinny stamp for the mass tone swatch. So on the final stamp set you will get, you'll have this skinny stamp attached to the single swatch stamp. If you don't need it, you can simply trim it off. This single swatch grid is great for documenting how your inks layer. For example, I stamped the full rectangle in a blue ink, then I used the solid stamp here to stamp half the rectangle with a yellow ink, and we get a beautiful green color by layering the 2 colors. This half swatch stamp is slightly longer than the one at the top left. To its left is our 1/3 solid stamp, which fits right in either parts of the divided areas on the 24 swatch grid. It also fits in the smaller rectangles on the 10 swatch grid and the 1/3 area on the single swatch. I layered red on top of blue and get a purple color. To the left of this 1/3 stamp is this tiny stamp that fits between the first 2 indicators on the single swatch. You can use this to stamp with your favorite waterproof black ink to test the transparency of your watercolors. I used it to stamp a layer of a gray color on top of the blue and got a beautiful navy color. And this line of little triangle, square, and circle stamps are designed to help you complete your watercolor info bar when documenting your watercolors. We're working on a dedicated video explaining these letters, such as G is for granulation, and I will update the description to this video with a link as soon as it becomes available. So with our Color Swatches release, we also have Swatch Tag Die that contains a 2x2 square and a tag and artist trading card size. I'm going to do some stamp surgery today, and I'll show you how I mount the stamps on a mini MISTI to use with these die cuts for swatching out my colors, recording beautiful color combos, and ink layering possibilities. Take the 2x2 square for example. You can safely fit 6 swatches on there, but I will use 4 swatches for this and leave room for recording ink information. I also like how well 3 swatches from the 10 swatch grid fit on this 2x2 square. It's perfect for documenting ink layering. Of course, you can use the 2x2 square with this single swatch. For the tag, you can fit 8 swatches this way, or 9 swatches this way, or color mixing, ink layering with room for information this way. I'll show you what I mean. When I said stamp surgery, I meant cutting the swatch stamps apart using a pair of scissors. You can use your stamping blocks, but I'm going to place mine on a mini MISTI and will probably keep them there for a while. I cut one more swatch off the 10 swatch grid to get a 6 swatch stamp to place on my MISTI, and I still have a spare to stamp out the single swatch. Mount the first 3 swatches I cut out earlier to the corner, making sure the stamps are fairly apart from each other so I can easily apply ink to just one of them. Set the 2x2 square piece of paper down and mount the 4 swatches cut from the 24 swatch grid to the bottom. This way, I still have room to place a magnet that holds the paper down during stamping. I decided to cut the single swatch stamp apart and use just the 2 rectangles for the mass tone and the swatch, with the 3 swatches on the left and the single line stamp on the right for 2x2 swatches. Both arrangements leave room for a magnet to help hold the paper down during stamping. Easy peasy, right? I will keep my MISTI this way for a while until I swatch out all my ink pads and finish my swatch book. For simply swatching out your ink colors, I prefer a stamping block. This is especially great for dye inks, when you will need to stamp twice or 3 times to get a smooth, even coverage. I'm really happy how easy it is these stamps lined up. Just look from the side, make sure the edge of your stamp is lined up with the swatch outline, and then stamp. With our 1/3 solid stamp, you can take these simple swatches one step further by layering another color on top. I love keeping great references all in one place. This is also a great way to discover color combinations. I can tell already how much fun I will have stamping out these 2x2 color combo cards. Now, let me show you how I document ink layering. As you can see on screen, we have our 3 primaries at the bottom, red, yellow, and blue, 3 secondaries at top, orange, green, and purple. I'm also going to use a gray ink to darken the shades. This is my favorite way to get some beautiful muted colors. First, I'm stamping the 3 primary colors. I will go ahead and fill out the color layering gray on top with the red color. I'm also stamping the last row of the rectangles with the primary colors for layer the gray color on top. I went ahead and stamped half of the color layering grid in yellow and a square of the color layering grid in blue to document how the 3 primary colors mix. I'm stamping the second last row of rectangles with the secondary stamping inks I have. Generally speaking, each time you layer an ink on top of another, you will lose the luminosity or the brightness of the color a little. So for the most vibrant colors, you'll want to have the dedicated stamping ink for it. See how these ready-made secondary colors are much brighter than the ones we mixed and top by layering the primary colors. Now using the gray color, I'm darkening the last row of the primary colors to get some beautiful muted shades. These are great for fall and winter projects. Now this is when I decide we need to have the solid stamp for the mass tone outline stamp and top. I didn't have it for this video, but I'm sure it will be helpful in some way. If you're new to stamping, I recommend that you start with these 9 colors. On screen is the shades we have. 3 primaries, 3 secondaries, a light gray and a light brown for muted shades, and a blue-green such as the new fishing pond we have here. Let me show you how to get some beautiful rich fall colors from the 3 secondary colors we have. Start with stamping out Oh Happy Day orange, Chirp Chirp green, and Happy Go Lucky purple on the 3 columns. 1 color for each column, both the big rectangle and the 2 small rectangles below it. Then stamp the first row of small rectangles with a light brown color, Coffee Loves Milk, for added warmth. And then stamp the second row of small rectangles with a light gray color, Like a Pro, for some cooler shades. Now let's layer orange on top of green and purple, layer green on top of orange and purple, and layer purple on top of orange and green. Look at these beautiful colors in perfect color harmony. Be aware of what colors work together is a great way to improve your designs. Last but not least, you can also use these stamps to stamp on a label that can be adhered to your ink pad for a quick reference. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this video is helpful for you. For more creative ideas and product info, please visit us at waffleflower.com and follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. I'll see you again soon.